This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Street photography is the most accessible genre, however for beginners it can also be the most daunting because not only do you have the pressures of shooting in a public place and feeling like everyone is staring at you, but you also have to navigate the minefield of opinions and noise surrounding what street photography is and isn't. So in this video I'm gonna break down a bunch of street photography misconceptions in the hopes of giving you the confidence to go out and shoot. The first misconception is that you need to be an extrovert in order to be a street photographer, and honestly, that could not be further from the truth. Myself, plus at least 5 or 6 other photographers that I personally know, are all big introverts. We don't enjoy being in huge crowds, surrounded by people, and always striking up conversations. Of course, being an extrovert within a street photography scenario does help tremendously, especially when it comes to striking up conversations with strangers, being in very busy environments, and dealing with anything that the streets can throw your way. However, it's not the only ticket to being a good street photographer. There's definitely an art to being an introvert and a street photographer, however it's 100% doable. The only caveat here is even if you're the world's most proud introvert, there is definitely benefit in getting out of your comfort zone now and again and learning how to interact with people in the street, because if you're always shooting in cities, sooner or later you'll have to do it whether you like it or not. The second misconception about street photography is that your images must include clear, identifiable people, or at the very least, the human element must be the main subject. Whilst I understand where this view is coming from, because ultimately you're documenting what's happening in the streets, I personally think that there is a lot more going on in the street than just the people there. The people are one of the core parts of the street, however, you also have the buildings, the animals, the public transport, the weather, the light. There are so many elements that together make an amazing street photo that only focusing on one of them, I believe, can actually be detrimental. Personally, I do have a lot of people in my photos, however they're more anchors and they act as a visual point to give scale and relevance. So while in some cases people are the main subjects, in many other scenarios they're simply part of the bigger scene. The third misconception surrounds camera gear, specifically the idea that you need to have certain camera brands, camera types, lens types, or even focal lengths in order to be classified as a true street photographer. This couldn't be further from the truth. It really doesn't matter what camera gear you use. So whether you have a limited edition Leica that gets more love than your children, or the latest Sony that shoots 82 megapixels per second, it really doesn't matter, as long as you enjoy using it and it gets the results that you want. Spend enough time reading street photography forums and it won't take you long to come across some very strong opinions on the matter of editing and cropping. Now, we need to separate two distinct types of street photography, the first one being documentary based, while the other is more on the fine art and hobby side. If you're taking photos with a documentary approach in mind, meaning you're documenting an important event that would then be archived for historical purposes, then editing or altering the image shouldn't really happen because you don't want to alter the reality or change the narrative of what actually was going on. However, if you're taking photos for fun or for artistic purposes, then there's no real limit on how much you can edit or crop, nor should you place these restrictions upon yourself. Of course, everything has a limit. If all of a sudden you start photoshopping birds and trees and flying pigs into your image, then yes, some credibility might be lost. However, removing some rubbish from the floor, boosting the colors, changing the composition, and generally tidying up the image is absolutely fine, and please ignore anyone who tells you otherwise. And the last misconception is that street photography only happens in major cities. Of course, being in London, New York, Tokyo, Hanoi helps with getting great photos because there is so much going on and you can get a bunch of shots just by walking 10 minutes. It doesn't mean that you can't get anything else when you step outside of the city. As a matter of fact, going back to my Vietnam trip, some of my best photos, which included people and had all the elements of being a street photo, were actually not taken in the major cities. They were taken in little fishing villages and random bits of land as we were driving around in the countryside. So by all means, shoot in the major cities, but if you're not near a major city, don't think you must go to London or New York or Tokyo in order to get those shots. Sure, it's easier if you do, but it's not a prerequisite. I'd like to take a moment and thank Squarespace for sponsoring this video. It's never been easier to start your own business, blog or YouTube channel and turn your hobby into an income. Squarespace offers the perfect all-in-one solution that is designed to take the headache and hassle out of the entire process. First and foremost, this is your website where you can showcase your product or service in a clean and professional way. Secondly, this is your online store where you can sell your products and services with powerful tools built in. Thirdly, this is your blog where you can write about your industry, therefore increase Google ranking. And there are many other built-in tools that allow you to create members areas, send newsletters, schedule appointments, and much more. Finally, this is all available on your laptop or in your pocket. Add powerful analytics and you have an ideal all-in-one package to run your business. For a free trial followed by 10% off your first purchase, please use the link in the description or use code RomanFox when you check out. Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring and thank you for watching.